In episode 1 of this series, I built a mysterious world core at the center of spawn, a mysterious beam of energy at 0-0 that to this day has remained a mystery. But today, I uncover that mystery and the answer was always the end. Every dimension has its own energy and in the end, all of it, the void, the shulkers, the dragon, gets pulled into one point, the exit portal. The portal leading straight to the overworld. So I built what's actually happening on the other side, a vortex, a tornado of end energy funneling straight down towards the portal and into the overworld. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another hardcore episode, and today is actually a very exciting episode. Not only will we be building in the end dimension for the first time, but in this episode, we'll finally hit 1,000 days in this world. And yeah, guys, we've built some pretty crazy things in this world so far, but I think it's time we finally move to the end dimension and put our attention there. I thought it wouldn't be a true hardcore Minecraft series if I didn't transform the end at some point, but in true Shinjiro fashion, I'm going to be doing the bare minimum. Oh my god, I'm so lazy. Will I be destroying the entire end island? No. Will I be replacing every single end stone block? No. Will I be building one of the most insane and abstract looking structures you've ever seen? Actually, yes. So to begin, as I mentioned, I'm not going to revamp the entire terrain here, and I actually kind of want to keep it how it spawns in, which means rather than destroying everything, I'm actually going to have to rebuild some things, since I may or may not have stolen a little bit of this tower here. Okay, both of the pillars have been restored. As long as no one mentions that they're hollow on the inside, we should be fine. So the first material that we're going to need is... Bro, I'm trying to explain something here, please. Oh my god. Okay, anyways, as I was saying, the first thing that we're going to need is a ridiculous amount of sea lanterns. So, of course, I'm going to visit our overpowered prismarine farm to check this off as the first thing on our list. Alright, so I'm going to AFK here for a bit, and I'll see you guys when I have 6 shulker boxes of sea lanterns. Alright guys, so after about a day and a half of AFKing this farm, and no, I'm not joking about that, we finally have about 6 shulker boxes here of sea lanterns, which means we can finally move on to yet again collecting a bunch of sand. Yep, yet another episode where Shinjiro collects millions of sand. So I'm obviously going to head to the sand duper for this, and I'm also going to cross off another material simultaneously while I'm there. Alright, so the other material I'm going to need is a bunch of magenta concrete. And of course I'm going to use the gravity block duper to actually obtain these. So all I need to do is craft one of these up, and then I can pop it in the duper, and we should be sweet to go. Alrighty, there we go. Magenta concrete powder acquired. So let's head over to the sand duper and get these materials. Okie dokie, we've made it to the duping machine here. I reckon I'm going to go with 3 lines of sand here, and then on the 4th line, we go with the magenta concrete powder, just because I'm going to need a significant amount more of glass than actually this concrete. So I think this should do. So what I'm going to do is flip this on, and then flip the other side on, and hop over to the end to see how much we're generating. Ow. Oh my god, lag spike. Okay, yeah, perfect. So that looks like it's generating, well, I mean... So I'm going to unload these sea lanterns here real quick, and then I'm going to AFK the sand duper just for a little bit until we have enough sand for the build. Oh my days, wait a sec. Yeah, okay. I forgot that this farm is actually running the entire time I spend any second on this world. So we already have way more than enough sand for this build. I might actually need to chuck some of this out and make space for just the magenta concrete powder. But just quickly before I do that, I'm going to go back to the sand duper and replace all the lines with magenta concrete powder because we don't need any more sand. All right, we made it back. I'm going to switch these off real quick and replace these lines here. Alright, sweet. Let's switch them back on. Okay, that's much better. And we're going to need to clear out a little bit of space here just for the magenta concrete. So let's start clearing out this sand. Alright, we cleared out the double chests of sand, and as for the sand itself, we definitely have more than enough here. So what I actually want to do now is build another super smelter right here next to the duping machine, just so I can smelt up all the sand into glass while I generate the magenta concrete powder. So I'm going to get cracking on gathering the materials for this super smelter, and hopefully we can do that without too many troubles at all, and we can get started on this right away. Okay, so I was gathering the materials for the super smelter, and I realized that I need some dead coral, and guess what? The closest coral reef is 10,000 blocks away. So I'm going to grab some obsidian real quick, head to the nether roof, and travel 10,000 blocks, I guess. Alrighty guys, so fun fact, it was actually 20,000 blocks away, but nevertheless, we've made it to our destination. So all I gotta do now is build this portal up, and once we head through, we can grab our coral. Oh my days, really? Yeah, as I suspected, another cave. Nice. Alright, well, let's try and get out of here. All right, we made it out of the cave. I don't see a coral reef though. Okay, so there is a coral reef here, but barely. I mean, it's like 3 pieces here. All right, so I need the dead fire coral fan. Is it this? Oh, I probably need shears. Okay, never mind. Maybe silk touch. Yep, okay, silk touch it is. And I need the fire coral fan. Fire coral. Okay, I need the fan. Must be this one, eh? Yes, got it. All right, let's head back. We came all the way here just for that. Such riveting gameplay. Oh, I'm gonna drown. Anyways, let's head back. Such a random tower. Light this up. Let's go. All right, let's head back. Oh my God, I needed 2. Bro, you're joking. Why am I so dumb? Okay, we got 2. Now let's head back. Okie dokie, let's put this shulker box down and get building this machine. Okay, guys, I believe with this powered rail here, this entire super smelter is actually done. So if I head up this way and switch this clock on, this carpet is going to begin duping, which is our fuel. Once there's a little bit of fuel, this is going to trigger and take all the carpets down through the furnaces, which means all we need to do is put our sand in this double chest here, and it should run along all of these 32 furnaces and smelt up. So let's stop talking about it and just give it a test. So let's head over this way, load this chest up with sand, and I guess let's just see how fast this happens. Oh my God, bro, I just put it in. I just put it in. Oh my days. All right, well, this is going to take no time at all. All right, I'm going to keep filling up this chest and I'll see you guys when all the sand is smelted. Okay, so after another like 3.5 days, we finally smelted up all this sand and we have enough glass. I think overall it was like 13 shulker boxes of glass, which compared to the last project isn't actually that much. Oh yeah, and also while that was smelting up, we managed to get all the shulker boxes we need of the concrete powder. So with these 4 stacks here, we have just about 7 shulker boxes full, which means we can finally move on to progressing with this build. Oh boy, that's going to start lagging out my world in a sec. I'll deal with that later. So what I'm going to do is quickly unload all these materials into this little chest monster here, and then we can start working on obtaining the dye for the glass and also wetting all the concrete, since we obviously can't use concrete powder and we're going to need to turn it all into concrete at some point. All right, everything has been unloaded. Let's go build this dye farm, baby. Alrighty, guys. So we're going to build another one of these flower farms that we built in a couple episodes ago. The reason I'm going to build another one is that the problem with this one here is that it only generates yellow flowers. And to make magenta dye, we need a mix of blue and red flowers. We already have a ridiculous amount of red flowers from this iron farm that we've been running since day 1. So realistically, we just need a supply of blue flowers. So I'm going to gather the materials for this flower farm and find a biome where blue flowers spawn and get cracking on building this straight away. As you can see, this is a very expensive farm to build. Okie dokie, as mentioned, we have plenty of red flowers, so I think I'm going to build it right here where all these blue flowers spawn. It's right on top of this little hill here. It's kind of aesthetic actually, so I'm just going to plot my stuff down here and build. Okay, I think that's it. I believe all we got to do now is just load this chest up with bone meal and flick the machine on. There we go. Okay, it's generating a decent amount of blue flowers, so I think I'll just sit here for a couple minutes and see how much we can collect. All right, so it was like legitimately 3 minutes, and I mean, we have all of the flowers we need. So I'm going to quickly convert these all into dye, chuck them in a shulker box, and then head over to our red flowers to obtain all of our magenta dye. Okay, that's all the blue dye. Alrighty, 2.5 shulker boxes of red dye acquired. So the last thing we're going to need, obviously, for the pink dye is some white dye, because obviously red plus white equals pink. So I'm going to head over to the mob farm, grab some bone meal, turn it into white dye, and then we should be good to dye all this glass. All right, okay, we definitely have enough bones to make all of the dye that we need, so I'm going to craft all this up real quick. Okay, Okay. So update. What this means is once we head back to the end, we can dye up all of our glass. Once we've dyed up all of our glass, the only thing left is the concrete, and then we can get started on this build. So let's start with the pink dye, since I think it's going to be a little simpler to craft up. Boom. All right. Full shulker box of pink dye. And that means I'm going to move on to the purple dye now. All right, that's all the purple dye we need as well. So we have all the pink and all the purple dye. So now comes the extremely riveting part of dyeing all of the glass up. So yeah, I'm probably going to put some music on and I'll see you guys when that's all done. Oh my days. All right, my wrists kind of hurt from all that crafting, but we finally crafted up all of the pink stained glass and all of the purple stained glass. It's an absolutely absurd amount of glass, not to mention the absurd amount of all the other materials we have. Yeah, this build's going to be pretty insane. But anyways, back on track. Now that we've dyed up all the glass, it means we can finally work on getting this concrete. So yeah, we're going to need to turn all of this magenta concrete powder into concrete. And considering there's so much of it, doing it manually is gonna take way too long. So I'm gonna do some research and build a concrete wetting machine. And after we've done that, we can actually get started on this build. All right, let's begin gathering the materials for this farm. Boom, yet another game-changing transition from me. All right, anyways, let's go build this thing. I reckon I'll slap this right in the middle of this grass field here, since I can't really be bothered finding a different place for it. So this is going to be the build location. For now, it's just going to be a floating bunch of blocks in the sky, but I might decorate it in the future. Okay, the big floating machine is done, meaning all we need to do is fill up these 3 chests here with our concrete powder. Okay, we filled up most of the chests here and a little bit of the hoppers. So what I'm going to do is flick this on and give it a test. So if I hold this place blocked, oh my god. Okay, this shouldn't take too long at all. All right, guys, so that actually took a surprisingly short amount of time. All of our concrete is loaded up into these chests here. So all we need to do is put it into our shulker boxes and then transfer it over to the build site. All right, that's our 8th shulker box loaded up. Let's head on over to the build site. All right, let's load these materials up. I probably should have built this a little bit closer to the center of the island, but hey, I like to make things a little bit more difficult for myself. Okay, the moment has finally come. Let's begin this build. So I'm going to go in with the block palette here, and I think I'm just going to work on getting the shape of this main part in. And once I've kind of sketched out the shape, I'll check in with you guys. Okay, guys, I'm a little scared. We're very, very high up, but we've managed to put all of the rings in here. So this is kind of the general structure of the build. I don't know if you can really tell what the shape is going to look like, but I'm going to fill in all of these walls here to make one big kind of cone flipped on its head. I mean, it obviously looks trash right now, but I promise once this vision comes to life, it's going to look absolutely insane. Okie dokie, just a little check up here. It's starting to come together really well. It's got this kind of scaly pattern, which I'm really loving. But yeah, I can only imagine what this is going to look like all the way down to the bottom. I'm really excited to get all this done. So let's just crack on with it. All right, everyone, these last few blocks here are going to be the final placements of the main structure. And yeah, guys, this is the exact look I wanted. It's almost hypnotic in a way. Super cool, but we're not done just yet. It's a little plain at the moment with not a lot of supporting visuals to enhance the effect. So what I'm going to do now is go in with our sea lanterns and create what I can only describe as enlarged particle effects. But just quickly before I do that, let's take one quick moment just to appreciate this. Again, like, I don't know if I'm delusional, but I think it looks pretty cool. It's kind of like one of those old school dropper maps. Definitely got an element of nostalgia here. But anyways, like I said, let's go in with these enlarged particle effects here. Again, don't worry, it'll make a lot more sense once you see it. Okay guys, check this out. Do you see what I mean about the enlarged particle effect? Tell me you see the vision. Anyways, imagine like, I don't know, 20 of these scattered all around this structure. I think it's gonna look pretty sick, so let's just crack on with it. All right, that is the last particle in place. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a final look. This definitely has to be one of my most breathtaking builds ever. I mean, it's just like, it's stunning. Like, I have no other word to describe it. Again, like, I don't know if I'm majorly overplaying this, but in my opinion, this looks pretty sick. Yeah, dude. I mean, very much content with this build, to say the least. And guys, that is officially 1,000 days survived in this world. It's been a hell of a journey. I've had the best time of my life, and I cannot thank you all enough for the support along the way. Here's to much, much more to come. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.